I can see the sun coming up, and I need it. Oh yeah, I feel like I've been down for a while. I can feel the world spinning round. Do you feel it? Oh yeah, before every day comes a night. I can see the sun coming up, and I need it. Oh yeah, I feel like I've been down for a while. I can feel the world spinning round. Do you feel it? Oh yeah, before every day comes a night. I can see the sun coming up.
Woo!
And I need it.
Hello everyone, how are you? I'm Oliver, welcome to my Backgarden kitchen live. You're very welcome for coming along today on this glorious day. It's so beautiful. I'll take these off. So yeah, today I got, I suppose, lots of comments, kind comments and positive feedback from all you. I'm out of breath. I was ironing my apron beforehand, so I hope I did an alright job. But here's our neighbour. So we're going to make some lovely summer smoothies today, and thank you for all your kind comments and positive feedback. I really appreciate it. And you just asked to do these smoothies, so I'm really thankful. And we're going to get started on some of the favorite smoothies of mine. Some of these are new. I suppose when you make smoothies, it's so important to have lots of healthy ingredients. Always visit your independent health food store. I just want to thank the Pundit Health Food Store who supported me today with all these wonderful healthy ingredients. And yeah, so as you can see, we've blackberries and strawberries, raspberries, blueberries. Strawberries are in season now, and raspberries are in season, and blackberries are coming into season. So always try and buy Irish when you can. And we have some bananas, tropical fruits we call them, pineapple. So you can see I have a packed fruit bowl here. And we've got pears, avocado, which is a fruit, mango. And then we go on to our greens. So there's some lovely Irish kale and spinach and celery. So you can see, as always, I support and buy Irish where I can. And always ask questions with your independent health food store or greengrocer, because I always try and support independent stores as much as I can. And so should you, especially during these times, challenging times for everyone. And they're all doing such a great job, working essential work to keep us all nourished properly. And I just want to thank everyone, to be honest, working on the front line, and essential workers everywhere, all over Ireland and all over the world, because obviously this is a global thing we're going through, and hopefully we're coming through it. And it's always important to stay positive and be kind to one another and look after each other and support one another. So I hope here today these simple smoothie, easy, healthy recipes of mine, well, they're not really recipes, to be honest. When you make smoothies, you should really just have the ingredients in the kitchen if you can. So always have the packed fruit bowl, keep your greens in the fridge, keep your berries in the fridge. And then there's some other support ingredients I call to kind of, I don't like using the word boost, but to enhance your smoothies day to day. So we're going to make some kind of breakfast smoothies, and then some kids smoothies. And to be honest, they're for everyone. They're for the family. I suppose with kids, they like to have colors. It's so important, and obviously they should be doing this themselves. And yeah, like I've worked in schools throughout the last 16 years, so obviously when a child is about 5, 6, it's all about the color of something and the smell of something. And I suppose just having a good blender is important. This one is a Blendtec. I think KitchenAid's a good one too. Some of you might have NutriBullets. I forget, Vitamix is another one. But yeah, anything that kind of, I suppose, crushes and blends whole ingredients properly, so you're left with a smoothness. Just use. You could obviously use as an adult a soup blender as well if you wish. But just try and invest in a good blender. I used to, when I started, use juicers and blenders, but you don't need both. You can just use a blender. So for my first smoothie, I suppose we'll start with breakfast, the most important meal of the day, where you absorb the most nutrients because we're awake. And it's always nice in the morning if you can to have a smoothie, I suppose. It could be, if you wish, a meal replacer. But some people like to have a small smoothie, like a 250 ml, if it's a green smoothie or a breakfast smoothie, with, you know, if they're going to have eggs or porridge, etc. afterwards. But what I do usually is I like to cook some porridge flakes, Irish oat flakes or jumbo oat flakes. And the reason why I cook them is it gets rid of something called phytic acid. So if you use raw oat flakes, that phytic acid could still be there. And what it does is it robs all the nutrients from the other ingredients in your recipe. And you don't really want that. It's kind of like nearly what we're going through today. It's like an invisible kidnapper of nutrients. So be very, always cook your oats is what I'm saying. The other thing I found over the years is that if you don't cook your oats and if you're using them, the raw ones in a smoothie, it could lead to indigestion. And I have had clients before who have been suffering this way. And it's usually the culprit is the raw oat flakes. So just bear that in mind if you're using raw oat flakes. So try and cook them. So I've let these cool down. We're going to add this to the blender. Just make sure it's off before you start. So pop this in. So I'm just using about 2 tablespoons because this is kind of more so a family smoothie. And I'm really just serving for one person at the moment. And then we have banana. Just always make sure your banana is ripe. And a way to ripen your bananas, if they're green, is to put them on a clothes horse, indoors, preferably. And a nun told me this, so it must be true. Loretto nun from Dalkey used to do them, and that's how she ripened her bananas. So this one's nice and ripe. And obviously the way you would know is the black spots on the outside. So usually it means as well that there's less starch. And starch in green bananas could easily again lead to indigestion, which we don't want. Now, and then to this we're going to add some lovely berries. Banana, by the way, is a good source of potassium. And it's kind of, I suppose, in the mornings, it's a medium blood releasing type ingredient. Or sugar, I should say. Carb. We've got some raspberries here. I'll put in all of them. Nice not chuck them all in. And we'll do a mixed berry. So we've got some blueberries. So always with your berries, they're a good source of antioxidants, which basically means that they replace oxidized cells or damaged cells within the body. Damaged cells can be caused by pollution, or not that there's much anymore, thankfully. What else? I suppose bad food, refined food, fried food, yeah, so you catch my drift. Now, we got our friendly camera here today. Kaz, are you okay, Kaz, today? Yeah? How are you? Good. So we got blueberries here as well. And you can buy these in your local greengrocer, or, as I said, even health food stores today would have them too. All right. And if you wish, you can throw in some Irish strawberries as well. So good for you. I always try and buy as much as possible. And if you have a chest freezer, try and freeze them so you have them throughout the winter. They'll still keep a lot of their nutrients. So it's just something wise to do so we don't run out of them. Always remember, the closer your fruit and vegetable comes from, the less pollutants on there, or even chemicals, etc. Even if it's conventional fruit and veg. So always remember that. The more further away they come from, if it's, you know, even bananas or pineapples, they could be held in refrigerated units for a very long time. So usually we'll be opening a mango later. So if it's black on the inside, it just means it hasn't ripened properly. Now, so this is a really good smoothie for all the family. You could use gluten-free oats there if you wish, or you could use gluten-free flakes, which would be quinoa, millet, brown rice. They're all gluten-free flakes that you can buy in your local health food store. Yeah. And to this, so I like to use a little bit of almond butter, like so. Just make sure you mix your almond butter really well. When you buy this one, is called Monkey. Alright, it's really creamy. So this is a good source of essential fat, or it's just a good fat. And it can get a little bit messy. So as you know, I'm all about food combining. So you're getting your fiber, your complex carbs, your protein, and your essential fat here. And this is what will keep you focused and fueled throughout the day or till your next meal. The good thing about a smoothie is you don't have to have it there and then. You can bottle it up and take it to wherever. Or keep it for later. Now, and to this we're going to add a little bit, I think, of wheatgrass. I've got the True Natural Goodness wheatgrass. So basically, wheatgrass contains every nutrient known to man and woman, vitamin, mineral, etc. So it's just something you can depend on, and just keep it in the fridge. And it shouldn't really distort the color too much, hopefully, of this. So this one's quite simple, like so. And then we're going to add coconut milk. I always like to use coconut milk. I just find it, I suppose, a safe ingredient, and it's kind of allergen free when you think about it. So the other one I used to like was rice milk, but I just find it sometimes a little too refined. So coconut milk I love. I like to use the coconut milk, or Ecomil, which you'll find in your local health food store. So I suppose it depends on what consistency you want with your smoothie. So if I left it there, you're going to get, you know, a thick smoothie, which I prefer. But some people like it a bit more liquidy. So it's up to you. You could actually use water there now if you wish to. And let's give this a go. Watch your ears. You ready? Yeah, that's pretty much done. You can have a look at that there, Kaz. Does it look good? Yeah. So simple. That's something like the whole family could make together. It's really easy. If you have any worries about, you know, using knives, etc., you could prep for kids yourself. But it's pretty straightforward. And then, you know, aesthetically, just going to use one of these jars. And still a really pretty color, so kids should love this. Now, that preferably should be used within a day. If I use lemon or lime there, you probably might get 2 days out of it, sealed in a fridge, okay? So that's the first smoothie. I'm actually gonna try this myself. Gorgeous, and it's naturally sweet as well. So as you can see, I haven't used any syrups or honey, etc. You could if you want, but it's naturally sweet and delicious. So now just pour this in up, and then you can decorate. Always try and decorate your smoothie if you wish. I like to use, as always, the True Natural Goodness organic shelled hemp seeds. And then I like to use some of the True Natural Goodness bee pollen. Excellent to support your immune system for this time, or during these times, I should say. Like so. Is that pretty, Kaz? Yeah, so let's call that, well, I used to call it the ultimate breakfast smoothie, but you can call it the June bank holiday if you wish. Leave that there. And always, if you're buying straws, make sure you're using compostable or biodegradable straws. And there you go. And I'm just going to wash this out quickly, so pardon me. You don't have to get me washing. No. I'm back. It's lucky I'm in the garden. Imagine me doing this in my garden. Now, there you go. And now we're going to continue, let's say, with a green smoothie. But should we do a green smoothie? Yeah? So as always, I suppose, keep your greens. The essential ingredients with a green smoothie would be, I suppose, the spinach, the kale, celery would be the most popular, I suppose, and the easiest to use. Some people like to use romaine lettuce or cos lettuce or any type of lettuce, if you wish. But for nutrient value, I love kale. It's a good source of calcium, magnesium, and even vitamin D too, which we all need. And same with spinach. Celery would be a natural diuretic, which means that it actually depletes water retention on the body, e.g. cellulite, which is always good. So let's just start with some baby spinach. And as always wash up after yourselves. Don't leave a mess. It's very important. Whatever you prepare, clean up after you. I'll take these shades off. And then we're going to add some kale. Just tear that in, or just use it all. These are all Irish grown, so there's no chemicals on these, thankfully, just from local farms, which is always good. And then we're going to use some cucumber. Cucumber again works a bit like celery, it's natural diuretic. And it looks after our skin as well. That's why celery juice or cucumber juice has become so popular recently. And it's a good cleanser. If you're doing any sort of cleanse, 3-day cleanse, this would work for your breakfast and lunch. And then I suppose this time of year you'd have a green salad with protein of some description. All right, and 2 snacks. And when I say snacks, apples are always good to use. Okay, so to this one we're going to add some pear. Pear would be low glycemic, which means it doesn't really interfere too much with our blood sugars. And always, if you have any sweet cravings, like I would recommend whole fruit or a smoothie of some description, because it will deplete the craving. I always go for a bowl of raspberries if I have a sweet craving, and it always works for me, thankfully. You could also use apple here if you wish. But the pear will naturally sweeten it. All right, and then we're going to use some pineapple. So when you are using pineapple, always try and buy a ripe one. And how do you know it's ripe? Do you know, Kaz? Well, one of these stalks should come out like so. And that's how you know. So pineapple is a very potent fruit It's so potent that in the farms where obviously it's grown, they have to use gloves because there is something nutrient-wise called bromelain in here, and it's gorgeous. It smells like summer. It smells like the Caribbean, but it's so potent. It actually helps deplete any scarring or bruising on the body. So, of course, if you ever, I suppose, fell and grazed yourself, you could always put a pineapple top. You might get thrown into jail, but it does work apparently. Now, so just cut this around the sides. So I've just cut the top and bottom. And then we're cutting around the sides, like so. Got naddled, obviously, to help you here. It's always good to have these fruits prepped in advance. I like to use some, as I said before, lemon juice or lime juice to keep the colour and the freshness of these fruits if you are prepping them the night before. Alright. And then some people don't like to use the center part, but it doesn't really bother me. And then we're going to add some of this lovely pineapple, which contains that nutrient called bromelain, which is also, you'd see it in your health food store as a supplement now, and it works really well on any bruising inside and outside the body. It's also good for digestion. So to this we're going to add some coconut milk, again, my favourite. And I like to use a mixture of super greens. You can, like Newzest would have good green stuff, which is a good blend of super nutrients of wheatgrass, chlorella, spirulina, etc. True, you can buy them separately. Yeah, so you can buy those in your local health food store. Just use about a half tablespoon. Alright. And I think that's it. We're going to blend this now. Just add a little bit more. Turn it on, of course. Now, as you can see, you can easily make a mess. So always keep your hand maybe on the top of the blender, but always have a cloth. But that's the whole fun of it. And that's pretty much done. And you can see it's a gorgeous green smoothie. Does it look good? Yeah? So we'll pour this in. Now, and then again, just some bee pollen would be nice on top. Like so. So I'm all about the presentation, as you can see. And I'm just going to try this. 1 sec. I have to finish my other smoothie. Oh my god. Sorry. That's gorgeous, if I do say so myself. So I hope you're writing these ingredients down, because I'm just putting this together, because that's what smoothie making is all about, and and always have fun with it. So I'm just going to wash this, so maybe get a close-up of the bananas or the fruit, Kaz. Now, I'm back. So now we're going to make some, like, I suppose, really kid-friendly smoothies. And one that would always works, I believe, is just a strawberry smoothie. which is quite straightforward, and always buy your Irish strawberries. Like so. They're a good source of vitamin C as well. And they're just packed full of nutrients this time of year because they're just from down the road. And I always like to use some banana. Like so. And then if the kids aren't looking, you can always put in some of the super greens. Just a little smidgen. So you can kind of rely on that. And then to kind of cream it up a little bit, I like to use a little bit of coconut yogurt, which is the plant-based yogurt, which you'll buy in your independent health food stores always. And it's a good source of essential fat. And then there's another ingredient I like to use, which is tahini. And tahini, just a little bit, is a good source of calcium, magnesium. So it's really excellent for bone health. And it works really well in a smoothie. A bit like, I suppose, the almond butter or peanut butter, which you could use as well. And that's it. I don't like using too much in a kid's smoothie because, you know, I suppose their digestive systems can be quite delicate as well. So one thing you'll see I'm not using is dairy. I don't have a problem with dairy, but just from my own experience, it doesn't work very well with fruit. The two don't combine, as in you can easily get indigestion with a child. So that's why I don't use it, and I don't think I've ever used it. And I just have had reports from when, you know, parents are making smoothies at home that it just doesn't work. So I just prefer plant-based when I am preparing fruits and smoothies. To this, I suppose you could use some coconut flakes. It's all about trying to keep, I suppose, the colour as best as possible. And strawberry, and then just the coconut milk. I'll just wash my lid. Sorry. Turn it on. And that's it, just a strawberry summer smoothie. And just always, I'd like to use the little jars. So that's about 250 ml, I'd say. And then just a biodegradable straw. And I don't have to pop anything on top. Obviously you could if you wish, if you'd like to use the seeds or bee pollen, but usually a child just likes it regular or normal, so it's best to do so. Does that look good? Yeah, so we'll call that strawberry summer. And then for the last smoothie, just wash this jug again, pardon me. For the last smoothie we're going to do a mango. So with mangoes are a bit of a pain, obviously, to cut. Where's my mango gone? So always make sure it's nice and soft. If it has any blackness on it, it usually means it's gone off inside. But this seems to be okay. This seems to be really juicy. So the way to do it is just cut it, first of all, lightly around the circumference, like so. And then we're going to go again halfway in and just do the same thing. And this is where obviously an adult comes in. but you can prep this the night before. As I said, to keep the colour, you could use lemon or lime juice. And hopefully this is where I suppose you could give it over to a child just to hopefully peel off the skin, like so. Again, this is a good source of vitamin C. And just pop the flesh in. Mango also works really well in curries with coconut milk and your medium curry powder or whatever paste you're using. And always remember, pineapple works really well with chopped tomatoes in a stew. It comes across like a sweet and sour sauce, which is really yummy, and maybe we'll get to do that someday again soon. So I like to keep this tropical. That'd be a good song, actually, now that I'm thinking of it, if we do this again. Madonna. Tropical, the island breeze, all the nature wild and free. This is where I long to be, La Isla Bonita. Okay, I'll shut up now. Will I shut up, Kaz? Sorry. So some pineapple and mango. And then just a little bit of banana to this always works really nicely. So we're trying to keep the colour, I suppose. What you could use here, which would work really well, maybe not for kids, maybe for an adult, is ginger would work really nice. Grated into that. And coconut works really well with this, to make it even more tropical. And then also the True Natural Goodness works really well with this. Just a smidgen of turmeric. You don't have to use this if you don't want to, but turmeric is an anti-inflammatory, which means it works on inflammation throughout the body. Anything with anitis, arthritis, colitis, dermatitis, they're all inflammatory, okay, deficiencies, etc. So that's pretty much it. And then we're going to add some coconut milk. You could, as I said, use brown rice milk, hemp milk to this. But as I said, I don't use dairy that much. Now, and just turn this on. Now, so what we call this, I usually Mad Mango or Mango Madness, Mamba Mango, and we have our little, so this is gorgeous, you can see how creamy it is. And on a day like today, nothing better than a Mad Mango. And that's for little baby as well, because it does actually make very good baby food as well. You could just pop a little teaspoon in there and off you go. Now, but I'm going to have it instead, sorry. Gorgeous. And that would actually work really well as a nice lolly if you have the molds for the freezer. Delicious. The strawberry would work really well too. They probably all work really well, to be honest. So, listen, I think we're going to try and pre-record these. Some of them, Kaz, what do you think? And as I said, these recipes, and there's more recipes to come, are going out to local schools, primary schools, Loretto, the Harold, Loretto Dalkey, the Harglass too, Educate Together schools, and just so thankful to be asked to do it. And I know there's other chefs around doing the same thing, because it's so important that from an early age, kids are in the kitchen, helping, supporting, working together as a family to prepare breakfast, lunch, dinner, snacks, etc. And more than ever now, we have to rely on the food that we eat to nourish us properly and to keep us mentally and physically optimized. Okay, it's so important. And I want to thank everyone in the behind the scenes, as always, working in the local community. And I just want to wish you all well and hope you're doing a great job. And It's so beautiful. We're so thankful, aren't we, to have this weather at the moment, just to keep us sane. It's okay to go a little crazy now and again, bit of dancing. But I hope to see you again soon for another live. I hope you enjoyed this. And thanks to, you for tuning in. And I'll talk to you soon. Take care. Bye.